Alright, what's going on, guys? TREV back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the 14th episode for The Walking Dead Season 8. In this one, first, we're going to give our thoughts on a bunch of new pictures we have for Still Gotta Mean Something. Then after that, we'll get into some of your guys' Q&A questions. And spoiler warning, as per usual, if you guys are not caught up for The Walking Dead, which is up to The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 13. So coming right down to the wire now, we have 3 episodes left for The Walking Dead Season 8. Getting really close to the end here. Decided that let's have a look at some of these pictures we have for Episode 14 because we only have those 3 episodes left. That said, we'll be doing lots of videos gearing up for this big finale for The Walking Dead Season 8, and it should be one of the biggest ever because, of course, it is coupled with something they've never done before, which is the crossover between The Walking Dead and Fear, with Fear Season 4 premiering right after, and Morgan crossing over between both series. So very excited for these last few episodes here, and we'll be making lots more videos as we get closer to these last few. So in the first picture we have here, we have Daryl. Looks like he is sharpening his bolts or his arrows for the crossbow, getting ready for kind of the final battle here. He's got some extra ones there too at the back right, as you can see, which probably with them getting lower on ammo, probably a good idea for them to be putting together some some manual type of weapons, so bows, hand-to-hand weapons, axes, knives, sharp, all this the dirty stuff, right? But that said, it makes it really exciting to see. Gunfights are exciting, but hand-to-hand might be in some ways even more exciting to see in terms of like a battle or a war. So we do know, of course, from the promo for this episode that they're most likely going to go after Eugene. We'll have to see if they actually get him in this one. That said, there's not a lot of time left in this season, so I really kind of doubt at this point that his production is, if he doesn't have it ready pretty much in this episode 14, it might not come into play. So we'll have to see what happens here and whether or not they're going to be able to capture Eugene or kill him in episodes 14 or 15. So that's pretty cool to get things started. Next one we have is a whole bunch of zombies in what looks like some kind of factory. So this looks like some kind of environment close to the sanctuary. It could be close to where Eugene is trying to cast the bullets. We have a whole bunch of zombies here. We do know from the promo that Rick and Morgan are going to get into it here with some zombies in this episode. So could they be going after Eugene? Could they be going after the saviors that escaped, the prisoner saviors that escaped from the hilltop? Either one I think makes sense. Maybe they're heading to some kind of outpost or something, and Alden has told Rick that, so he's kind of heading out there with Morgan, and we'll have to see what that looks like. But if a whole bunch of zombies get in their way, they might not be able to close the deal with those survivors that escaped. Again, lots of uber awesome zombies, and that's one thing about Fear this season coming up. Not to not to talk too much about Fear, but the zombies look really good in Fear too. They look like they're pretty much the same, and that's one thing The Walking Dead has. The Walking Dead has the best zombies there are, even compared to movies or what. No, they have the best. There's no question about that, I don't think. Really cool. So very scary. I like that one too. Putting the fear back in The Walking Dead, right? So here we have Morgan and Carol. Speaking of fear, there's Morgan wearing his all-out war gear, which is really cool. Decked out, got lots of the weapons, ready to go there. Got a sidearm. He's got the bow, and he's got some kind of assault rifle too. Most likely, him and Carol are probably looking for Henry, I think. Which, it's just kind of like something probably to fill the time until the finale, so our Carl 2.0, so that's fun. Same with this one as well, too. We've got Carol and probably Morgan there as well. Also, I'm assuming looking for Henry. Whether or not they find him remains to be seen, so we'll have to see what happens with that, if it's 14 or maybe they don't find him and we see him later on this season or next season. We'll see. Same with this one as well, too. Just Morgan and Carol doing their thing. And again, another one with Morgan. And, and then into the, we've got a few with Rick here. So Rick and Michonne. So these ones look really good. I think they're still at the hilltop in this one. I would think so. Tend to think so. And, of course, in this one, Still Gotta Mean Something is the title for the episode. So I would think that probably what it's referring to is most likely after they've at least when I look at this picture, after they've lost Carl, it still has to mean something that they're alive, that they're fighting all out war, that they need to finish the war now, and that they win the war still has to mean something. So they've got to go for this, even though they're obviously super depressed. You can see it in that picture as they embrace each other. You can see it in this picture as well, too, especially on Michonne's face there at the right. And yeah, man, definitely super sad for sure. I mean, even just to see her, her how she's feeling and stuff like that. So very, very sad stuff. But they still have to find the motivation. They still have to find it, deep down in themselves. They got to dig deep. And win this war for all of the people that are still standing and are still alive. So, and there we have Michonne reading what might be Carl's letter, or maybe just a piece of paper. Hard to tell, right? It's I'm not sure if the paper looks that much like it, but either way, probably some Carl focus here. He hasn't gone that long, so I would expect to see at least some conversation here about that continuing. So that's it for the pictures. Now let's get into some of your guys' Q&A questions. And of course, if you guys would like to see another Walking Dead video tomorrow, then send me some more questions, because right now I don't really have enough questions. So send me what you guys got. Let's discuss before episode 14. Anything you want to ask, you can private message it to me through the channel. We can get into it. Rico Vi says, this is more of a comment really, he says that Henry is going to find the Whisperers. And so that's something that it's more of like a comment than a question, but I kind of like it. I thought that I'd include it in this one because that is interesting. So Henry goes off. Carol and Morgan go after him. Maybe they're not able to find him, and maybe in the finale or episode 15, Henry runs into the Whisperers. That would be a cool kind of lead-in for The Walking Dead Season 9, and certainly something they can come back to later, and they can focus on him more as a character from his point of view, getting to see what the Whisperers are all about. Because he is just a kid, so it's not like the Whisperers are just going to up and kill him right away or anything like that. So I do like the idea, but we'll have to see if that actually does happen. Thomas Noctor says, I'm hearing whispers that there's a new great group coming in the Walking Dead Season 9. The whispers may or may not be, that you're hearing, may or may not be correct. CGCentral HD says, WTF was that Fear trailer music. It felt like some 80s Christmas song with overuse of comedy. If you guys didn't see it, I did a review earlier this week on Monday for the Walking Dead Season 4 trailer. And it's true that the music in it is quite strange. There's parts of Fear that have a Z Nation feel to them. If you guys have ever seen Z Nation, I've been reviewing it since the first season. It just recently got renewed for Season 5. I have no idea how. I really have no idea how it's still on. But it did. And Z Nation does a lot of these kind of over-the-top zombie apocalypse things, especially Althea's super vehicle thing she's got, like the SWAT vehicle thing with the miniguns that she presses the thing, and then it I like new people, and then it comes open. You see all these big guns everywhere and stuff aimed at them. That's something that really to me screams like Z Nation, but it's okay. I think they kind of have to do that, and they have to mix up and use kind of different music and things like that. It can't be intense all the time. There are certain times when Fear gets really intense, like Season 2. If you guys remember, Season 2's trailer was super intense. The first half of Fear the Walking Dead Season 3, where you have Walker or Taka, who literally feeds people to crows. So he'll scalp them, and he'll let the crows come down and peck at their brains and stuff. So, Fear has done the brutal stuff, right? Let's just say. Fear has done the brutal stuff. They've done it really well at some points. The Walking Dead has done that, like Season 5's trailer, if you guys remember, with Terminus and the Saw and everything like that. You have Rick and the others and the Bat and everything. So they've done, they've done the brutal stuff. I think probably what they're trying to do with the music for the trailer is use some kind of light, fluffy cloud, music to go with that trailer, and just kind of maybe mix it up a little bit, do something original, do something unique. It's something to be said that after all these seasons, they're still finding things to do that are unique, that haven't been done before, and feel original, like this crossover does, and I think it's a really, really good idea. Chill McCool says, Trev, Q&A. Why the did Dwight blast on Simon during the fog of war? And that's a good question. People have said the only thing they can think of is that maybe the people behind Dwight would have seen him if he had shot Simon right there when they were right with each other, rather than shooting Tara. And there's always a chance that Simon could kind of survive it somehow or something, I don't know. But it did seem like a really good chance or a really good time from our point of view, I thought, with the camera. but it is true that he was kind of his back turned. It was in the heat of the moment and everything. Stuff like that's going to happen. You can't, it's easy for us to say in this situation, but if you're right there at that moment, they're all rushing in, you got them to your back, they're over there, you don't know if they're looking or not, Simon's going this way, and you're just kind of listening to him, because Dwight's got to be scared of Simon too. I mean, Simon, as bad as Negan is, Dwight's probably thinking, wow, Simon's even worse. He wants to kill everybody, and it's just, oh man, he's something. So he's got to be scared of Simon as well too. It's going to be difficult for him to kind of disobey him. But I do think he will kind of stab him in the back when the moment is right. We just haven't seen the right time yet, at least from his perspective. Vince Cambio says, Trev, based on what we have seen so far in the Red Machete miniseries, do you believe it will end showing a walker picking up the red machete, which will be revealed as a whisperer? So I don't think so, because that's way back in a different location and everything like that. If you guys remember, that's around the prison type of look. Joe's group, Claimers, prison type. There was the travel that they did in season 5 with Noah, if you guys remember that. So the 2 locations. So anytime you get theories like that with stuff that's from back then, it would be really strange to see that, because I'm not actually sure where the red machete is even at right now, because it was back there. So I don't know if Rick brought it with him or what, or where it's at right now, because I don't think we've seen it recently, have we? But I do like the Red Machete series that they've been doing. I do think it's really cool. I like that they got the actor who played Joe to come back and do one. That was really sweet. And we'll have to see what they do with it in the future, if anything. Mr. Hardcore Horror says, Trev Q&A, I think it's safe to say the second half of Season 8 is far better than the first half. If the first half was good, or was as good as the second half, do you think it would have beat out Season 5 as the best season ever? In my eyes, of the majority, I know you personally like Season 6 more. So I don't think at this point, after this many seasons, almost no matter what they do, any of these seasons are going to be regarded as the best seasons of The Walking Dead ever. I'll be shocked if Season 9 is regarded as the best season of The Walking Dead ever. Season 8 won't be in the eyes of the majority, I guarantee you that. But from what we're seeing, in my personal opinion about Season 8, they've done justice to All Out War. They've taken the whole season to tell the story and really dig into a lot of the different battles. They've expanded on the comic book series version. They've added in groups. They've added in other things. They've added in Simon. They've added in the junkyard and different, just a lot of different stuff. The Carl death they've added in. That was new. That was not in the comics. So Morales returning, which was something that was a fan, was a fan theory, just something the fans wanted to see, and they actually did it. So, personally, I mean, they've done a lot in Season 8. And I bet you, here's one thing I think we can say. I think it was probably more difficult to make Season 8 than any other season prior of The Walking Dead. Just based on our perspective. For what we're looking at, what they've included this season, the amount of action they've done, how almost every episode has had some kind of action in it. Pretty much every one has. It's probably been the most difficult season, I would think, to make for them, because of just how much time it takes for them to get these action scenes done and everything, and just how much there's been and the scale and everything. It's probably the hardest season they've had to do, most likely. So for me, it's going to go down as one of my favorite seasons of the series. I don't know if any season will beat out Season 6, because ultimately that's like the ultimate zombie apocalypse season. It's got the biggest zombie herd The Walking Dead's ever had. It just has so much awesome stuff in it, No Way Out and everything that I just loved. The introduction for Negan right at the beginning, that was so highly anticipated. So for me, Season 6 is my favorite. But I don't know. The first half was really good too. All the things I just mentioned they did in the first half, they did a lot, and they used the whole season for All Out War. So, of course, the finale and the conclusion is probably going to be the most exciting part. It usually is. And that's just kind of the way it goes. Chas G says, I liked the Merle and Governor mentions in this episode. References to earlier seasons are awesome to see. And that's true as well, too. I did like the references to kind of the earlier stuff, especially Merle and Daryl talking about his brother and stuff, and Tara. And, it's cool. It's just that in episode 13, they had so much stuff already, it just kind of felt like something else they threw on there as well, which is not a bad thing. I'd rather we have too much than not enough. Joe Ridley says, looks good, but Fear will never beat the original series of The Walking Dead, in my opinion. And let's kind of wrap it up with that one as our last kind of comment. I agree. Pretty much no matter what Fear does, it would have to do something really just incredible to surpass the first series, and it's probably not fair to expect it to do that. I don't think it really ever could surpass the original Walking Dead. There might be parts of it that are better than parts of The Walking Dead, but you know, when people say Walking Dead, they're always going to think of Rick. They're always going to think of, you know, those original characters, Daryl with the TV series, and you know, for villains, Negan and all that in the comics and everything. So Fear, it probably isn't fair for us to ask that, but a lot more people are excited for Fear right now than they have been for The Walking Dead in a while, which is really cool to see. And that'll be it for today's video, guys. I hope you did like it. Let me know what you thought about the pictures earlier on. And if you have any other questions, be sure to send them to me so we can make at least 1 or 2 more videos before episode 14 premieres on Sunday night. That'll be it for this video, guys. We'll see you again soon for another. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. I'll see you soon. Well, I hope you're wearing your subscribing pants. What? Your subscribing pants. Because you're going to subscribe to this channel wearing those pants.